Hello and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. And tonight we're looking at the follow-up to Yes Madam, Royal Warriors from 1986.
So is it definitely Royal Warriors? Because it's got quite a few other titles.
I didn't look into that, did you?
It's Yes Madam 2 in some territories, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But also in the UK, this was released first as Police Assassins. And then I believe Yes Madam was released after that as Police Assassins 2.
Right.
So make of that what you will.
It's a bit of a jumble, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it was retroactively called in the Line of Duty series. But we're looking at this as, I guess, a sequel to Yes Madam, which we reviewed a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and we both really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Amazing action comedy.
Yeah, so that was Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock, both in their sort of debut, feature debut anyway. And this came out a year later, Royal Warriors. So no Cynthia Rothrock this time, though.
No. So Michelle Yeoh returns, but I don't feel that she's playing the same character because totally different character name from the first film.
Yeah.
She's Michelle Yip in this one.
AKA Big Sis is her nickname.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah, she's not, I think the connection is basically Michelle Yeoh is playing a Hong Kong detective.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the police stories, I suppose, with Jackie Chan.
That's right.
They were kind of a bit like that, I think. It's sort of like loosely connected, but basically Jackie Chan's playing a Hong Kong cop, basically. Yeah. But I guess we start off in Tokyo.
That's right, yeah. And Michelle is, I think, on a holiday or something, and she's at a festival where there's kind of a lot of music stuff going on.
A lot of partying, and then she interrupts a sort of gangland attempted assassination.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of Yakuza thing.
Yeah, they're trying to kill some guy in broad daylight in front of like about 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Not the savviest.
No, and they make the mistake of running past Michelle Yeoh.
That's a big mistake.
That is a big mistake.
So we get a nice little action sequence from there, but this story is not really connected to the film story at all.
No, just a nice bit of action. It's to basically place her in Japan.
And then on her flight home, she meets up with our other two protagonists, I guess, for this film.
先生，
小姐，有咩我可以幫到你㗎？
你識唔識日文㗎？呢位日本朋友坐錯咗我位啊！
So we've got Air Marshal guy, Michael Wong,
Michael Wong, yeah.
played by Michael Wong.
Yeah, is that his character's name?
Yeah.
It's just Michael Wong?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's less confusing for us.
It is, yeah.
All films should do that.
睇你都唔似壞人，你知唔知我做咩㗎？係護航員啊！未聽過咧，即係保護呢架飛機安全嘅人。
Possibly the worst air marshal in the world because he immediately reveals to Michelle Yeoh that he's an air marshal, which
Yeah.
I think is the first rule of being an air marshal is you don't tell people you're an air marshal. He does anyway, and sitting next to her is Yamamoto, a Japanese police officer, but with his wife and child. He's coming from, obviously all coming from Tokyo to Hong Kong, but also is a man who's been escorted, extradited back by two police officers, I guess, from Tokyo back to Hong Kong.
Yeah, a big mob boss wanted for murder.
It says something about murder, yeah, and he's quite well known because he's interviewed by the press as he's going on to the plane and stuff. So it's a big news story. So on the flight though, there's an attempted escape by another passenger who kills the two police officers.
Yeah, so it's a kind of hijack thing going on.
The plan is to then reroute the plane to a different destination for them all to get picked up. Yeah. But this doesn't go according to plan because, as we've said, on board this plane is Michelle Yeoh, Michael Wong and
Yamamoto.
We're just confused. We're just going all over the place here. And we get possibly, I think for me, the best action sequence of the film.
It's quite a way to kick off the film.
A five-way fight with two criminals, I guess, and our three heroes on board this massive plane, different levels that they're fighting on, involving other things like fire extinguishers, grenades, knives, guns, and ultimately the airplane window when they're mid-flight.
Yeah, it's extremely brutal fight scene.
Yeah, for me it was probably possibly the highlight of the film. A really good, strong sort of start, really good choreography with the fight, and just excellent sort of opening thing, and placing us into this world where these three become the focus of the film, and the ramifications of what happens on that plane follow through. So,
and I think we thought we maybe have met our main bad guys, but they're dispatched with.
So both of them are killed, which is interesting.
It is, yeah.
But obviously there's another two who are on the other side ready to sort of rescue them. They don't take too kindly to what's happened. So that effectively sets up the film as a sort of our bad guys trying to get revenge, trying to kill our three heroes.
Yeah.
And our three heroes trying to navigate through this, through various twists and turns. Three of them kind of return as heroes off of the plane, press are all over them. They're kind of like celebrating it a little bit, or Michael Wong is anyway. The other two are maybe laying a little low, so that kind of sets their characters up, I would say.
I would say so. Michael Wong he shows an interest in Michelle.
That's a nice way of putting it.
喂，原來師姐識咗個 boyfriend 啊，唔怪你咁好心情啦。
嗰個係我細佬嚟㗎。
You could say low-key stalking and sexual harassment. Done in a playful way though, up to a point.
我送你去海鮮舫啊！
我要翻屋企換衫㗎噃。
冇問題，我都送慣女仔翻屋企換衫㗎啦。
對唔住啊，我唔慣俾男仔送翻屋企換衫㗎。
Quite overbearing, and I think he'd be very much cancelled today.
Yeah, definitely. I would say maybe starting to get into a bit of critique of the film now, and I would kind of say that his character, as you said, was quite overbearing in it. And I know he was supposed to be, but I think as a viewer as well, I was kind of like, you really wanted to just like punch him a bit.
This film was very serious compared to Yes, Madam, but this guy, Michael Wong, he brought a bit of humour because he was so inappropriate.
That's true, yeah. I mean, it's going to be difficult to not compare it to Yes, Madam. But yeah, that's true, because that was definitely more of a comedy, and I wouldn't put this in a comedy kind of section at all. It is a lot more serious. It's darker in tone, certainly certain aspects of it compared to the first one. The bad guys are less comical, if you like. If you remember, like in Yes, Madam, there's a guy who looks like a maniacal Saddam Hussein or something like that. Whereas here it's a little bit more realism, I suppose, to it. But then, yeah, you throw Michael Wong in that with his character, who is basically for like about a good hour is just harassing Michelle Yeoh for a date.
Yeah. He's got quite an interesting character arc.
I mean, 90% of it is just, as I said, sort of low-grade sexual harassment, and then he has a little kind of
Dark Night of the Soul sort of thing.
possibly, yes, that might be it. And he does, I guess, he does kind of come good in the end. But he was I think for me, he was a bit. I don't know if he was best written and portrayed in that manner. It was just a bit too much for me.
Yeah, it's an amusing character for me. He's so inappropriate, and yeah, he needed a bit of help, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, there's moments I think we'll get into with some of the things he does is just like, wow.
誒，佢哋幾登對啊，嗬？你同你太太結咗婚好多年㗎啦？差唔多3年啦。嘿，恩愛夫妻啊！
They're all kind of hanging out a bit in the evening of this, celebrating their heroic status.
Though he's the only one that's really celebrating.
I guess, yeah.
Because I think Yamamoto, there's a bit of tension with the family, I think. I think at this point we learn that he's resigned from whatever job he was doing so he can spend more time with the family, which is good. But there's definitely a bit of tension there.
Yeah, basically he's he's quitting his job as a detective. He's got a bit of a reputation, they say at one point.
Yeah, for being quite aggressive.
Quite aggressive in that. So he's going back and he's taking like a 9 to 5, so she seems to be happy with that. They've got a young kid.
Yeah.
Things seem to be so bad. I don't know if you noticed, but like when he hands her like a piece of toast at the breakfast table, she's so overawed by this attention to her.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought, what has he been doing like up to this point, you know?
Yeah.
What has that poor woman been through that she's not even been offered a slice of toast?
There was quite a sweet scene with the little girl as well. Quite cruel because he pretends he's dead and she starts to cry, and then he pops up. No, it's okay.
We've all done that. So we've got a nice little moment there, and then he has to go off to file a report about this incident with with the other two. So then we get into definite, just sound that spoiler alarm. Yeah, this is one that took me by surprise on the first viewing.
For me too, I did not expect this. Yeah, I mean, that was a brutal scene and really well done, I thought.
Yeah, basically a car bomb is placed under Yamamoto's car, expecting him to be in it, but he's not. And the wife and kid are incinerated. There's no two ways about it. I thought when they were going off to the airport, I thought, okay, they're going to get kidnapped by the bad guys. They're going to hold them ransom, to use them as bait or whatever. But no, they're just killed right off the bat. And it's like, wow, I just was not expecting that. So that's kind of sets that's like definitely a darker tone for this film.
Yeah, it's definitely not afraid to kill off characters in this film.
This we'll probably get to.
So after the bomb goes off, there's a cracking car chase.
A very good car chase. Apart from a couple of moments when spatially I was like, yeah, that car's just teleported. Apart from that, it was all really well done. Good car chase, jumping from car to car. And we go into a sort of like fist fight.
There's a fight scene in the quarry, which is amazing as well, because it looks like our hero's going to get buried.
Michelle Yeoh and him have a really cool fight on that. One of those things where one's trying to move the vehicle forward, others trying to move it back while they're punching each other in the face and stuff. All good stuff. But he gets away, and Michelle Yeoh has to rescue Yamamoto. So that's when he then basically is ready for revenge.
Yeah, so he goes and acquires a gun.
So he gets on the black market sort of legal gun sort of thing, but he doesn't pay for it. He just kicks some ass. And says he's just borrowing it. Fair enough, I like the style. And uses Michelle Yeoh and Michael Wong as bait because he knows they're being followed. Tells them to come to a club.
Yeah.
What's it, Club California or something?
That's right, which I think was made famous in Hong Kong film, in a Wong Kar-wai film, Chungking Express. I think they mentioned California.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I've watched it. You gave me a copy of it once. Yeah. I think I've still got it. It's like a sort of neon 80s kind of tech noir kind of place, I guess. They're all in there, and yes, our bad guy appears, and he's in the club, and then we get a crazy
massacre, basically.
Yeah, I mean, how many civilians in this one?
Yeah,
quite a few.
It's nuts.
and they eventually do apprehend him and kill him. And so they think that's it finished.
Yeah.
We know we're only at the 45-minute mark, so we know there's some more to go. There's another one who's not been revealed as yet, but he kind of has been.
Yeah, because he was floating about the club. So I don't get why he didn't reveal himself.
I was hoping you were going to tell me, because that was something I wrote in my note, because it was like, I'd watched it twice as well, and I still don't quite know what his plan was, because basically our fourth and main villain, or our end villain, is in the club at the time posing as a sort of slightly drunken, slightly comedic civilian, I guess.
Because I think during the club scene we're introduced to a lot of civilians, and I think they're played by a lot of well-known Hong Kong actors,
Right,
a lot of cameos going on and things like that.
Okay, right.
And he was in the mix.
Yeah.
So we were introduced to our last villain, the main villain, I guess, but we didn't realise it.
There's no way you would kind of know, and obviously our protagonists don't know either.
唉，好彩有你撳住我咋，唉，你都幾好身手噶喎。如果邊個得罪你咧，咁啊真係麻煩啦。你係揾你飲茶啊
Michelle?
Again, yeah, it's a bit confusing as to what he's ultimately doing here, and it's not. I don't think it's kind of revealed or explained
No,
particularly well.
we didn't really see it from his perspective, what he was up to.
Yeah, maybe someone can explain that one to us. But I was kind of hoping that you were just going to explain it, and I was going to go, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting the same thing.
Yeah, okay. If we both weren't quite grasping it, then I guess maybe something's kind of went wrong a little bit there in translation.
Possibly, yeah. But it doesn't matter too much with a film like this.
No, it's not. It's like he's kind of there playing mind games with him and stuff.
So we kind of learn at this point a bit more about our bad guys. So there was 4 originally, and they fought in the Vietnam War.
Right, I wasn't sure if that's what the war it was. Okay, so
There was an incident where one of them stepped on a landmine.
and the other 3 rescued him,
Yeah,
and they all kind of bonded
yeah,
over this moment and vowed to protect each other,
no matter what.
no matter what.
冇事㗎啦，你縮腳啦。嘿，你哋走先啦。如果有事咪大家攬住一齊死。我哋幾間唔走㗎啦，冇人可以分開我哋4兄弟㗎。冇錯啦，生係一齊生，死係一齊死。
Michael finally gets an absolute roasting from Michelle, long overdue,
Absolutely.
for his just insatiable
Inappropriate.
behaviour, which has been going on for about an hour.
Even in the worst circumstances, like Yamamoto's family dying.
點解你硬係對佢咁好，對我又咁差嘅咧？
你諗咗去邊度啊？
我諗緊，如果佢冇老婆，你會唔會中意？
過分！唔該你即刻喺我面前消失。
誒，喂，我只不過話，如果佢冇老婆，你會唔會中意食雲吞麵咁啫？
Yeah, he's jealous of her being nice to Yamamoto because he thinks that Yamamoto might muscle in there or something. A day after his wife and kid have just been toasted.
Yeah.
It's like, I've no idea how Michelle Yeoh's character kind of put up with him. But anyway.
我真係唔明你啊！你好幼稚，由我識你到而家，你冇一次可以嚴肅啲嘅咩？你到而家都唔知發生咩事嘅咩？山本嘅太太死咗，我又俾人停職，你仲當冇事發生過，仲喺度嬉皮笑臉過日子？
She just kind of absolutely dress him down, not in the way he would like, and he kind of does, I guess, take it to heart and does go back and reflect on his behaviour.
收埋呢啲花同埋呢啲懶幽默嘅嘢，人哋或者信。
Whilst at home, reminiscing with his goldfish, he realises on the photo,
There's a 4th person in
4th person in the photo, yeah.
He develops a photograph and
Yeah.
sees that there's another face in the shadows of this photograph.
And he recognises it as this man at the club
That's right, yeah.
seen earlier, and thinks, right, okay, I need to look into this. But as he's trying to do that, our bad guy apprehends him, kidnaps him, and tortures him and uses him as bait to lure out Michelle Yeoh, who would be quite rightly just telling Michael where to go at this point.
Yeah.
But she's a good person, so she comes to try and save him. And he's using him as bait hanging him over like a building side.
Yeah, and this was quite spectacular. And it's another scene that surprised me, I guess. So poor Michael's been hung over a building by a rope.
To entice Michelle Yeoh to go up to try and rescue him, whilst the bad guy's there, he's going to, I guess, attack her, kill her. That's the plan, anyway. So Michael takes things into his own hands.
Yeah, and decides to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, for his love of Michelle.
Yeah, so he's a nice stalker after all.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he got a redemption. He got something there at the end.
Yeah, that's quite a way to redeem himself. Yeah. I mean, even when he was falling, I was thinking, oh, he's got to survive. There's a soft landing or something. But
yeah, and even when he hits the glass panes, and then he goes into something that's in
flowers or something.
Yeah, I thought, okay, he maybe be hospitalised or something, but no, he's dead, and the bad guy gets away. Michelle Yeoh's distraught at this. We'll have a funeral for Michael.
That's right, yeah. It's quite an emotional funeral.
Yeah. And Michelle Yeoh on live camera says she's going to exact her revenge.
Madam 啊，對於今次嘅事件有咩睇法啊？我要同 Michael 報仇。
對唔住，佢心情唔係幾好，一陣時同各位傾。你邊度嚟？
我要殺咗佢。
So he sends out these videotapes where he has done a bit of grave robbing.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of gone full Rambo as well. He's got the red band around his head.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
我要殺咗佢。
That's from an injury though, is it? That he gets in a nightclub because he gets a scar in his...
Ah, right. But it's a red band.
Yeah.
So he's going to lure them out.
With effectively Michael's body in the coffin. Did you watch both the English version and this version?
No, did you?
Yeah, there was a slight difference, I think, in the English version where it explains about, it might be something to do with, I'm guessing, a sort of ritual where if the body doesn't have a place to bury, then I guess it walks in, it's an eternal sort of, what do you call it, purgatory or something like that.
This last part is just for you. Your pal Michelle doesn't get to see this. I'm sure she's already rushing out of the door to go and rescue Michael and save his everlasting soul.
Yeah, he lures him out by dangling Michael's coffin from a crane in a quarry. Not the same quarry, I don't think, that we were in before.
It's more out of the way, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is, and says, come and get him if you want to get him. So they both make their way there.
Who gets there first? It's Yamamoto.
There's a little shootout, but he's in trouble.
His car overturns and he's kind of stuck, trying to clamber out.
Michelle Yeoh makes her way there, but just before that...
Yeah, okay.
Just before that, we see her making her way there and she stops off at somewhere. We are introduced to a new character that... For about one scene.
He seems to reveal something to her, but we're not sure what it is.
It's got a big sort of tarpaulin sheet over it. He's just a way to pull it back and have a hard cut, and then we don't see what it is until Michelle Yeoh arrives on the scene at this quarry. Armoured tank car.
Yeah.
Which has come out of nowhere. So I'm assuming that this guy is some sort of...
Q from Bond.
Yeah, that's that's the idea that I got, and he's working for some sort of police service or something like that.
Yeah.
And she can still tap into that, I guess, but there's no foreshadowing of that.
No, None whatsoever.
So that's a bit of an issue. But on the one hand, I was kind of like, I just enjoy Michelle Yeoh going about in an armoured car tank,
Yeah.
you know, knocking down buildings and stuff like that. Why are you analysing it too much, you know? And on the other hand, I'm like, where did this come from? What is this doing in here?
You just fill in the blanks quickly yourself and enjoy it.
Yeah, it could have just been, if they just had that in a scene earlier on in the film, maybe she's visiting, whoever this guy was supposed to be, maybe she's in there earlier to pick up some weaponry or something like that, and he just sort of happens to say Q style, you know, oh, I'm just working on this, and yada yada.
Or maybe she gave Yamamoto a hint. Look, you can go and get some guns from this guy.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah, she arrives in this little mini armoured tank car thing, I guess, which helps her to rescue Yamamoto at this point, and then she uses it to completely destroy the building that our bad guy's hiding in and shooting from.
It's all on stilts, and she just...
But then he's able to quite easily disarm her in that with a petrol bomb. And that kind of takes the car out of the situation. So not only does it come out of nowhere, but it's quite easily defeated.
For some reason, she needs to escape from it.
I think as a prototype, it needs a little work.
But that is an amazing moment where she dives from it.
Yeah, lots of great stunts and stuff, and lots of great, really well shot, most of the film. And then we kind of carry on to, I guess, our sort of final fight. She kind of defeats him, but we sort of know he's not definitely dead because we've seen films before.
Yeah.
And she goes to see if Michael's okay. He's been injured at this point, and a bad guy makes a sort of return, tries to light this mega fuse. So he's been pretty busy overnight, digging up graves and then setting all that. And he sets it on fire by himself being set on fire, and then he manages to crawl over. That was probably my favourite moment.
Yeah.
It sets off all the explosions. Everything blows up. Nice and spectacular, but they managed to get away.
That's our team at the end, the three of them back together.
And we get a little flashback to previous events in the film, the dark stuff, basically, the car bomb explosion, and Michael falling to his death.
Yeah.
And then they
each grab a
handle of the coffin and start to drag it through this wasteland.
Yeah.
Quite morbid.
It is.
And then that's the end.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome.
I thought the end shot was just took me by surprise because I thought, wow, that's quite bleak.
Yeah.
They're going to drag this coffin for how long? I don't know, but you know, that's what friends are for, I guess. Thoroughly enjoyed this one on the back of having watched Yes Madam a couple of months ago. I think it's not really, it's more of a spiritual sequel.
I think in the Line of Duty series, I think it's a collection of films rather than being tied together.
But yeah, I appreciated the sort of the slightly darker tone of this one.
Yeah.
It was a bit more propulsive. I thought the action sequences were well varied and well spaced out, and good characters as well. Michael, maybe, you know, with a little caveat there that he's just a little too much for my liking. Maybe Yes Madam had a superior end battle, and perhaps Royal Warriors didn't have anything quite as good as that, but what films do, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Definitely, and in this one, the female lead was front and centre, which was good.
Yeah, because I think we said with Yes Madam, it had both Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock, but they were kind of a bit lower in the mix, and towards the end of the film they were kind of pushed aside so that our male characters could kind of wrap things up.
Yeah.
Whereas that doesn't happen here. Michelle Yeoh is pretty much front and centre, and actually our two males kind of, well, obviously Michael dies, and Yamamoto is kind of sidelined for a while.
Yeah.
And it's more Michelle Yeoh, the Michelle Yeoh show, I guess, at this point. So
definitely, a lot more character moments in this one.
上頭一日未批准你仲啱我，你要聽我講。Shut up！你當眾侮辱上司，我要你做證人。
你寫份 report 俾我啱嚟㗎咋？你見到晒㗎？我乜都睇唔到啊，Sir。
Royal Warriors, is there a reason it's called that? I didn't quite pick up on that.
Hong Kong was under British rule, I guess.
Yeah.
And the police force was called the Royal Hong Kong Police Force.
Right.
皇家香港警察。
Instead of watching the Royal Coronation, we watched Royal Warriors. And the music was quite nice as well.
你望下對面大廈嘅天台。
It felt very Carpenter-esque in terms of both its how it was composed and how it was used in the film, because it's one of those sort of like less is more sort of things, I guess, and it feels like there's a few pieces composed for it and then they're kind of used quite a lot. But it's nice. Some abrupt editing with the music, I noticed, could have just done with a little finesse, a little fade in here and there and stuff.
Especially, I love the bit when she's running towards a building when Michael's cutting himself loose. That was nice. And just the backdrop of him up there, it's very real. It's a real stunt.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's just something simple like that. Just looks so good these days. When you kind of know if you did that, action star was doing that now, unless it was Tom Cruise, I guess.
Yeah.
It would be, I don't know, CGI'd or blue screened or something like that. But just having that one shot of him dangling like that.
I mean, the stunts in the film are incredible. I mean, no regard for health and safety in some of them.
I did see in the extras that talked about something to do with the car chases that didn't quite have all the permits or anything like that for doing it. So, yeah, no regard for the public either. I don't think anybody died. So,
This is a win.
Okay, I think I have to go with 4 logs. Michael, armoured car, that's it. You know,
Yeah.
that's my only niggles, I guess. Everything else is pretty much pitch perfect. Lots of surprises and twists and turns. Good tone, simple story, good escalation of the bad guys, kind of going through, oh, you know, those two are dead. Oh, it's this guy. No, he's dead. Oh, it's this guy. That was all good. Kept me on my toes. And obviously, not all our heroes make it to the end. So,
Excellent.
4 logs for me.
That's good. Yeah, definitely 4 logs. I might just go a log higher. Yeah, because I enjoyed it the first time and I enjoyed it even more the second time.
Yeah.
I knew what I was getting. Yeah, Michael's just so ludicrous. Yeah.
同你兩公婆影翻張啊！我哋
怕咩醜啫，老婆？唔該。
I enjoyed this character.
Okay, that's fair. He's a bit much for me, but fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But it's understand. I think either way is understandable. I can see that he was put in for a little comic effect and stuff like that. For me, it was just...
He just wouldn't survive today.
Definitely not, no. Yeah, no, definitely not. He'd be cancelled right away.
Yeah.
And rightly so, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved the action. It's just top notch. And the armoured tank was a surprise when it just appeared. It's kind of a joyous surprise for me. It was just so crazy. Yeah, you have to turn off the logic part of your brain a little bit.
4.5 logs for you, and yeah, I'm going to stick with 4 for me. So that is that's both of us given a half log increase over Yes Madam.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so, because I think I was 3.5 and you were 4.
Yeah, it's a bit more consistent than Yes Madam,
Yeah,
which was also great.
Yeah, no, and the slightly better tone for me and stuff. So yeah. Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed that, and we hope you check out the film. But that's all we've got for you today, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.